Hey, I'm back. How you all doing? Economy growing. Debt big. Lucian wants to meet us. I hope he doesn't want to meet us to tell us that the constitutional reform is dead because we don't have enough support. Hopefully he's got a plan on how we get this across the finish line. Lucian scheduled some time with me to discuss the potential political repercussions of the upcoming economy meeting. Oh man, that's not... Oh wait, is this about the big companies? He arrived on time as usual and took a seat right across from me. If it's about the big companies, can I save you time, Lucian? I already know exactly what I want to do. I don't want to discuss this for 5 hours. I want to sell the government corporations to, in stock publicly and raise some money and privatize our economy.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Lucian had dark circles below his eyes. The plethora of political developments must have been weighing even on a workaholic like him. You look a bit tired, Lucian. You getting enough sleep, bro?
Oh, I'm trying to, sir. I'm trying to.
Don't push yourself too much, man.
I will try not to.
He's lying. He's gonna do it. But whatever, I can't stop him. He's like the only dude. He should have been president.
I must say, you don't look much better.
What are you saying? I'm beautiful! Yeah, I know. I always look tired. I look like a raccoon. I looked at myself in the small hand mirror. Similar circles were beneath my eyes as well.
I booked some of your time, to pre-plan for today's meeting at the Ministry of Economy. Before going into the economic direction, I want to give you a short status update.
Can I abbreviate? Everything fucked, but the economy growing.
After you and Mr. Kibner made your statement in support of soulless constitutionalism, the Supreme Court prioritized the case and quickly announced a verdict. It was very clever of you to use soulism against them. They couldn't afford to look like hypocrites, so they must have moved on it very quickly.
Yeah, once in a while I get it right. Yeah, we already know this. Felix Braun was ruled on. He abused his powers. He's banned from serving in any political positions in the future. Oh, and he got charged 5 million Swordfish Ren. Can I have that money? I have no monies.
The resettlements policies of Berger are ruled to be unconstitutional and have been revoked. However, the court also rejected Urson's arguments about the Constitution, ruling that all citizens of Sordland are swords regardless of ethnicity and are completely equal before the law.
I know, we already know this. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Thank you, Lucian. Can we just move forward? Do you have any idea on how we should proceed next?
I don't think there's anything we need to do at this moment, sir. There is one more important detail. The seat of Governor of Berger must be filled.
They got the NFP dipshit in charge.
Normally, the president appoints the governor of the special zone directly. I'm afraid, despite Ms. Morgna's protests, the court decided to take a completely different route on this. Mr. Harker argued that a premature departure of a governor during the term is an exceptional case. They ruled that the deputy of Governor Braun will assume his duty until the end of his term. Mr. Kibner might have played you, unfortunately.
Yeah, I picked that up pretty fast. As soon as I saw on the news who was in charge.
The deputy in question, Mr. Kroll, is a member of the NFP. I'm afraid the court delivered Berger straight into the NFP's hand.
Yeah, I already know that, I already know that. Yeah, I know, it's bad news, so what do we do now? I've already figured all this out. We've already explained it to the viewer.
Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about it, sir.
Why not? If we have the right to appoint them, why don't we just disagree with the courts? Of course, then it would go to the courts, and they would overrule us. Sorry, okay, there's a flaw in my plan right there.
Luckily, Mr. Kroll will not be able to resume any of his predecessors' unconstitutional activities. Of course, giving such a powerful position to a far-right nationalist is still very concerning. Luckily, Mrs. Graf is already working on a revocation of the special zone in Berger. We may still be able to get rid of Mr. Kroll that way. However, there might be a problem with its timing. It would likely be ready after the vote for the amendments. If the voice succeeds, as we've been working for, your limited decree powers won't be enough to enact a change this grand.
You got a lot of hope right now in our constitutional reform.
I'm afraid you won't be able to enact this change without the approval of the Assembly in that scenario.
Yeah, that's fine.
It will be very hard to convince them to revoke the special zone, but with Mr. Braun, an important fundraiser for the USP, gone, the party may be willing to move against Governor Krull.
Oh, fundraiser, not... So Braun was good at raising money in her funds. Fine. Let's just be straight about it. It's not even certain our reforms are going to pass, Lucian. We're doing everything we can, but man, it feels like a long shot.
We have to make sure that doesn't happen for the sake of our administration.
Yeah, Sorry, Lucian, I was going to be rude to you, but yeah, no shit. He took a look at his watch.
For now, let's return to the real reason we're here. Our economic direction.
Up?
We need to be cautious. Any grand plans about the economy also heavily influence our political standing.
Dude, we have 25% national support last time we checked. I think we should just focus on doing the right thing right now. And whatever can get the Constitution through.
We would be changing our relationship with the old guard, the oligarchs, and the opposition. As you know, this meeting will give you the opportunity to alter the ownership of the Big Four, the largest corporations in all of Sordland. We can start the process.
Hey, I got an idea, Lucian. What if we transfer all our debt to the construction company, and then we sell the construction company, and then when people buy it, they realize they bought -4 government debt, and we're debt-free? What if we did that? Don't look at me that way, Lucian. It's perfectly immoral.
We can start the process of nationalization or privatization, or we can keep the status quo. Again, I remind you that any change will tip an already fragile balance. I personally think we should stay out of this and keep things as they are. There is no need to make new political enemies at this stage in our term. But ultimately, the decision is yours.
Okay, can I make the decision now, or is that going to be another half-hour meeting thing?
What are you leaning towards? How should we move forward?
We're going to privatize these companies. We're moving to a free market economy. The government being in charge of these companies makes no sense long-term.
I have to ask, why? What is your intention?
We promised a free market. I could say, I'll do whatever I want. No, I could say the oligarchs are powerful and we want to aid them. No, fuck them. Because we're sending our corruption police after them. I'm trying to take the oligarchs down if we can catch them for anything corrupt. If we want to improve our relations with the West, we need privatization. Or I could say it'll help the economy. I think both. But let's focus on allying ourselves with the West. If we can ally ourselves with Arcasia, we don't need to worry about Rumburg anymore. If we want to improve our relations with the West, we need to privatize our economy.
It's true, Lesbia would look very favorably on such changes in upcoming negotiations.
Yeah, I forgot, we're going to negotiate with them. If we could get them as an ally, if we could have 2 military allies, not even counting Arcasia, Rumburg would have a very hard time against us.
Arcasia would see it as a positive step towards membership in NATO.
Yes.
One thing to remember is that since you've been transparent about promoting a market economy, privatization will not cost us much support.
Yeah, see, that's what I've been saying from the whole time, baby. Lucian took a note in his notebook.
I received a report from the Ministry of Economy that may impact your decision. Unfortunately, we have missed our government budget targets for the current quarter.
I don't think this is going to change my opinion at all.
The plan to change the ownership of important assets could help us generate much-needed resources to further improve economic development before the next election.
Let's just get that money and pay off our debt, Lucian. Let's just sell those shares on the open marketplace and pay off our debt.
It's just something to consider, as is our relationship with the oligarchs.
I don't care about them. If this somehow makes them like us and they support the Constitution, great, but I don't give a shit about the oligarchs.
We need to remember that they only care about their own profits. Unfortunately, we aren't on good terms with them.
Yeah, I wonder why. Every time Tusk tried to bribe me, I told that fat fuck to go get fucked.
This situation has been obstructing some of our efforts with the economic recovery. However, if we implement a privatization plan, they would surely be delighted. Still, we need to make sure that we don't go overboard with it. If we do, we might lose our base, both in the USP and among our people.
I'm not gonna say anything about the Lotharbrook group, I don't care. I could say let's half-ass this if we only privatize part of the companies. No, we're not gonna do that. To save our country from recession, privatization is a must. It is time for us to get out of the construction business.
As I mentioned, we need to be careful. Some of my connections indicate there seems to be a contest for leadership in the Lotharbrook group.
Yeah, you don't say. Maybe Karanti or somebody is trying to challenge Tusk. I don't know nothing about it. I don't have nothing to do with about it, but it could be happening.
It looks like Marcel Karanti is making moves to become the key figure.
Oh my, I didn't know.
Karanti probably wants his father's seat as the head of the group, and Tusk doesn't want to let it go.
Yeah, let those rats fight amongst themselves.
It's a significant power struggle, considering these are the heads of Sordland's two largest private corporations. If we over-privatize our state-owned companies, the Swordish State Corporation and Needham Mining, it could result in balance tipping to one side or the other. They would fight over buying up shares and cause chaos.
Lucian, that is great. Make them bid the prices up, and we can make maximum money as we offer an IPO on these companies. Let them fight for each other for shares.
Since you have already made your decision to privatize, you need to be decisive in your follow-up actions. Did Marcel or Tusk contact you?
I could lie, but I'm not going to lie to Lucian. Yeah, I received a call from Marcel.
What did he ask for?
I can say, don't worry, I have it under control. That's not fair. Lucian has proven to be smarter than us in some areas. I could stop him before he could say anything. No, I heard what he said. He wanted to make a deal to leave HOS untouched. Once again, HOS is the heart of Sordland, his multinational corporation.
And then?
Lucian is smart. He knows there's more than that. I said I'd think about it. I didn't make any promises.
Very well. Was that all he wanted?
No. He also wants me to give him the shares from privatization to lower Tusk's influence.
Oh, as I expected. This internal conflict among the oligarchs puts us in a interesting position.
Don't tempt me, Lucian. Don't tempt me with some untoward or immoral action that could be really cool. Don't tempt me with that, friend. Oh, don't.
Our relationship with Walter Tusk hasn't been good so far. Any move we make now has to be calculated and thought through.
Our relationship is not good with either of them, because I told them both to fuck off. Lucian looked at his watch.
Very well then, it's almost time. I will inform Mr. Horl of your decision, and he will make the necessary preparations to formulate a plan. I must get back to work. See you at the next meeting. Thank you for your time, sir.
Take it easy, Lucian. It was nice seeing you. Lucian got up from his chair and left the office. As long as Manger's not in charge of that shit. Oh, we got a bunch of stuff going on. Woot, woot, woot. Where do we start? Fuck it. Let's look at reports. Mixed reaction and protests against Supreme Court decision. So we already know that. I don't know why we're getting another report on that. That's old news. BFF threatens attacks against President Rayne and Kasaro Keebner. Ooh, the NFP. The BFF might attack you, but that might actually help the NFP. If the terrorists attack the NFP, and then they come back as the strong-armed secure choice, oh no, that's worrisome. And Herbert Kroll assumes office. We already know that. The NFP politician, the vice governor, has become the governor. Kroll has promised to work towards ensuring that the special zone remains stable and peaceful. It's neither stable nor peaceful. He called on the people of Berkshire to cooperate with him in bringing about positive changes to the region. Good luck, man. I don't think you're gonna, but good luck. What do we got going up in Arvery? Vogue's Land Navy, active in Marquian Sea. That's not good. So the commies are active in here. I hope we don't get dragged into a war between Agnolia and Vogue's-Land, because they're both disputing this little island here. The Falklands' increased navy activities in the Marquian Sea are heightening a standoff between the two nations and sharpening the rivalry for each other. Alright, y'all don't get along. That's old news. Wait, is there something on the world stage? Katana Security Pack launches the third of 3 satellites. This one is equipped with advanced imaging and radar technology. These satellites represent a critical step forward in the CSP's defensive preparedness and intelligence gathering prowess. Interesting. So they have satellites now, 3 of them, that can penetrate cloud cover or darkness with their radar systems to spy on large chunks of the world, probably including Arcasia, maybe even including us. What do we got going on in the news? Sordish Arcasian joint drills at Erlery Air Force Base. Arcasia, having been granted access to the Erlery Air Base, once again Arcasia is like the US analog, has been running joint military drills with Sordish planes. The exercise is indicative of the deepening trust between our country and Arcasia following the deal, during which Arcasia has also promised Sordland financial, logistical, and equipment support. Yes, we're growing closer to the West. What's Sordland today got to say? Okay, increased support for Bludish rights outside of Bergia. We already know that. In the more liberal, middle-class liberal areas, people are starting to see the Blues are oppressed and supporting them. That's great. We already know Krull has become governor of Bergia. Lockhaven Times. The Workers' Party of Bludia, those are the peaceful Blues, condemns the Supreme Court decision, accusing the court of turning a blind eye to the systematic marginalization faced by Bludish people. They want the Constitution changed to guarantee that they can't ever be, treated like shit. Walker's capitalism, this is on the world stage, versus Devereux's reform. As Acasia's election drama unfolded, Charles Devereux of the Reformist Union Party emerged as a formidable challenger to President Dwight Walker. Now, we agree with Dwight Walker. And by agree, I mean we get along. I'm not saying we're supporting either candidate for election. It's just Walker has been good to our country so far. Devereux presented a vision divergent from Walker's staunch Arcasian capitalism. He argued for a more balanced approach between public and private sectors, suggesting that unchecked privatization and deregulation could breed systematic disparities. Is he a commie? Highlighting the country's signs of economic stagnation, he attributed this to not only the considerable expenditures of the Ado Alliance and Arcasia's frigid standoff with the United Cantana, but also the socio-economic structure itself. While Walker's legacy resonates with many Arcasians, Devereux's message captured the hearts and minds of a sizable constituency concerned about the widening chasm of inequality. As tensions heightened, especially among Rumburgian migrants and Arcasians, the choice seemed to be between maintaining an aggressive capitalistic trajectory or reconsidering the nation's socio-economic foundation. And then more tensions in the Marquian Sea. Apparently some fishing vessels of the Agnolians have disappeared as them and Vogue's-Land get more and more angry at each other. Nothing good is coming of that. Let's look at some hopefully good things. What good news is there in the Codex? State figures? Felix Braun, so we know he is no longer governor. He was dismissed. Krull's the new governor. Governmental stuff. Special Zone of Bergia is still the Special Zone of Bergia. We're still trying to get rid of it. Bring that under the power of the central government. Oh, and we got some news into order. Corruption tackled? Okay. Like, I really wanted to take Tusk and see him in jail. But before this, there was a bunch of corruption. There's still organized crime, as you can see. We've got to get working on that. But corruption went from red to orange. That's a successful step forward. The successful implementation of successive anti-corruption policies has led to a significant reduction in illegal activities. Go Nia! Or, no, Greaser. Go Carl Greaser. It was Nia's idea, but Greaser's the one actually doing it. Thereby improving the efficiency of the system and strengthening the rule of law on Sordland. The government's efforts to combat corruption have resulted in the prosecution of high-profile corrupt individuals, sending a strong message to others who may be tempted to engage in such activities. Maybe that's why we haven't found anything illegal on Tusk. Maybe Tusk is treading the straight and narrow now because he's afraid of going to jail because we're actually punishing that shit. Hopefully that gets us some popularity. Look, Sortish people, we're taking the crooks to task. We're trying to fix things. I know it's not going all at the speed you want, but we're trying. We're trying. What do we do next time? Ownership of major corporations, that should be quick, probably. And then, well, we already know the WPB can condemn the Supreme Court. Next time, let's sell some companies. Let's try and pay off some of this debt.